Oh man, I just got tickled fancy pink by this donation we got during the break. So first off, welcome back. We're getting to the finals here for the Olimoleague. We're currently looking for KeeN. He's online. He may have just been watching the stream, is what I think was probably actually happening there, because we're just waiting for him to join us here in the lobby. But we got a donation coming in during the break from Super Mario SC2. He donates $3.40 and says, since we're talking about hourly wage, $2 for Rifkin and $1.40 for Zombie Grub.
Thanks.
This is funny because the wage gap isn't actually a thing, but it's hilarious nonetheless.
It's a little more complicated.
Receiving incoming transmission.
Another donation coming in from Super Mario SC2 says $5. I guess he's making up for it. Says JK. Thanks for all the hard work you guys put in. So thank you for both of those, but I will definitely make sure she only gets 70% of those donations.
Thanks.
Or no, less than 70% is more. 30% of the donation. I can't even sexist properly. It's like, I think that would actually, wouldn't that be like okay, and I'm seriously not trying to get too sexism with this, but like, wouldn't that be a woman's ideal scenario where the guy is still feeling egotistical and like he's in charge, but he's too stupid and pays you more when he thinks he's paying you less? You're like,
That's anyone's
like,
dream.
oh yeah, I guess it sucks to be earning so little. Thanks for 70%.
That's anyone's. Not just woman, Jesus.
Okay, so it's gonna be TvT finals. We'll get into it when we can. I gotta say, finally, I don't know if it just took forever for the Claritin to kick in or what. I can finally start breathing through my nose, which is nice. It's still blowing my nose every 3 seconds, but this was a rough cast to start with that allergy thing. So thank you guys for enduring it with me, with us. But just currently waiting for KeeN to come back from whatever adventure he's gone on.
A bathroom adventure, probably.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
But
What
it'll
kind
be a
of
best
duel
of
would
5.
Jesus.
I invited him and he joined when I joined on the first try. I'm just saying.
What?
I invited KeeN and he joined right away. But him,
Oh, so?
ByuN, I just noticed your name change. I'm actually gonna ask him about this.
And we're waiting.
Yeah, we're ready whenever KeeN says he's ready. There we go.
Just
All right, let's get this
smiley
party
face.
started. ByuN gave me a smiley face. Classic Rifkin went 2 all in, and I gave him a heart in return. I should have given him a smiley face back. Maybe a poo symbol.
That's really weird now. It's like someone says, "I like being with you." Or just
You're like,
saying,
I love you too. All right, folks.
Everything.
It's game number 1 in the best of 5 finals for the Olimoleague. TvT coming up, spawning the bottom right side of King Sejong Station. He's going to be the blue Terran ByuN.
The top left as the yellow Terran. He is KeeN.
So here's the predicament, Zombie Grub. According to certain individuals in chat, you always get free partoofs as long as you bet on Terran.
Okay.
That statement will technically be true to the winner of this series. How do you choose who to bet on?
Flip a coin? I don't know. But speaking of that particular individual, I almost laughed out loud getting out of the movie theater last night because immediately I went to like Skype and Twitter to talk about like what I thought about the movie, right? And I look on Skype and No Regret has messaged me. And I'm like, that's weird, he doesn't really message me that often. And he's like, in caps, it fucking worked. And he sends me an image and it's him trying to talk to Scarlett and she's not responding. And then he says, I'm gonna try this. He literally says, I'm going to try this. And then he says, fucking Terran, right? And she's like, Terran! Goddamn!
I love that some people just have those triggers. Like, Zombie Grubs is pretty easy as well. You just, like, if you really want to get her riled up, talk about things she can't do, like easy peasy, she'll be like right up there, be like, "No, I can't watch," you know.
There's a couple other ways around me, I guess.
So, anyways, going into this, I was gonna make the joke to say you always bet on ByuN, you always bet on black, whatever the saying may be. Like ByuN is just so good at friggin' StarCraft, man. And as much as I love and respect KeeN, and we see him all the time, and he's looking better, etc. ByuN to me is just going to be the better player in this matchup, to the point where I would almost call 3-0, with the only option of a 3-1 being like maybe Cheese catches him off guard or something, with how delicate TvT can be.
I would actually say a 3-1 because KeeN gets a better tank drop. ByuN's engagements were not like, oh my god, he's so much better.
Is KeeN going to get better tank drop?
Versus Labyrinth. I don't know. But this is, I guess maybe that cheese you were talking about that might get him a win.
So I'm actually, with both the guesses taken when they were, I was wondering if this was going the direction of Banshees. And I mean, there's no tech labs back at home, there's no tank production. It still might be the medevac first followed up into the Banshees, kind of like what we've seen people like Lily KeeN do in the past. But I'm really intrigued to see, A, if this works, and B, if it works specifically here against ByuN. Like, I always wait for these games to see, like, does ByuN actually have like a discernible weakness? Because it doesn't look like he does a lot of the time. Helling Fight's going to go a little bit better for him as he actually pushes into his opponent, despite getting kind of caught off guard with that first hit. And as we see, kind of topples the competition. But it's not going to be Banshees or Medevacs, it's straight to Liberator, which... This presents some interesting problems. Because ByuN's doing the Reaper Hellion attack, as he pushes, there's nothing to really defend against this, so ByuN might get away with the game right here with these 4 units. On the other hand, he's not going to have anti-air, so he can't shoot down his opponent's Liberator.
Well, that was a Liberator, and...
But I mean, a Liberator versus a Liberator, that's a fight that'll take a while.
Well, yeah, exactly. But the point is, KeeN's Liberator is not attacking while it's dealing with the other Liberator.
Oh,
right?
the Hellions get cleaned up, though. This is pretty big.
Oh, that grenade. Bye-bye. Yeah, so this... I don't know how much damage it's going to do. The Liberator pops out for ByuN, but is rallied, unfortunately, because he was not anticipating this Liberator so quickly, so he instantly loses 4 SCVs.
Oh, wow.
And brings back Liberator now. There you go.
Okay, so this will take time. You're right. Like, if this goes to a dogfight, okay, whatever. But as we can see, like, Liberator's damage was nerfed in the most recent patch of the game to specifically not hurt armored units as much as it used to. So this takes so... He might have been better off building a Viking.
Yeah.
And waiting for that. Like, this
I guess
so long to
I
clean
really
up.
underestimated how long. This is actually really silly.
Like,
Cyclone gonna help out with the front, so the command center's not stalled, and this does put ByuN still in an okay position. Unfortunately, he's down 6 workers, and he hasn't been mining for a while, so it's a lot of catch up from KeeN, but it's always a question who actually gets more from it. Now, this is really weird to see both of them going for the Banshees after everything is said and done, like further delaying what could have been a 3rd CC or like earlier tanks or something like that, but that's what they're doing. Now KeeN doesn't have anti-air though, right? He doesn't go for a Viking. Yeah.
Shout out to the Herpin Derpin for that 3-month resub. Thank you kindly. Reaper comes to the main, but it's zapped by the Liberator right away, so he was prepared and ready. This Banshee versus Banshee follow-up is cute and kind of funny, and just worth noting that a Liberator will actually clean up a Banshee, I think, faster than it will another Liberator. Or even a medevac because of the armored value. But unfortunately, it's going to get away with quite a bit. So once again, ByuN going to be taking some damage. And maybe I was too hasty to call this in the favor of ByuN. He's really getting worked over by KeeN.
This is some serious damage now. Like,
GG.
Yeah, game over damage. He was the one with the Viking,
I'm wondering,
Liberator, and he dies with the Banshee.
We can't check because of the mod. I was going to see if he had energy. I think he just muled, actually, which is why he tapped out, because he didn't have scans.
That's unfortunate.
So it's not actually such a crazy tap out, but there we go. KeeN takes that first game, and now to see how badly I influenced the bets by saying what I said. Yeah, so 35,000 per Tooth on ByuN, 9,000 on KeeN.
I mean, I helped that.
I still bet on ByuN. Like, I'm still going to bet on ByuN to win this.
I feel like this is KeeN going against, like, Senpai, you know? It's like, oh, this is the guy that's always won the Olimoleagues and everybody showed up and everyone loves him so much as a Terran. This is my chance. I get to beat him down. He's like the new reality.
Receiving incoming transmission.
Boop, boop, boop. Thank you very much to Apollo the Cat. Hey, this is your cat. You should read the donation.
30 cents for Rifkin, $3 for Zombie Grub. Because my mom is worth 10 times Rifkin. Also, put me on stream. I want to show my butt to Twitch chat. He's snapping right now.
You guys can't. If a cat's
He's
napping
so cute.
and he looks that adorable, you don't touch that cat. House is on fire. I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to leave him to die because he's too cute to disturb.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, you would hope also your cat was smart enough to like sense that there was danger. Like,
Just like yawns and is like, whatever.
all right, well, spawning here in the bottom left side of the map. He's down 1 currently, but it's the finals and a best of 5. Many games to be had. It's the blue Terran, ByuN.
In the top right, as the red Terran, he's KeeN. KeeN on winning. KeeN on taking that Terran mantle. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
I just realized I missed a great opportunity to finally pay you back for that Skype cock block.
Excuse you?
When you're like, because my mom's were like 10 times as much as Rifkin. I should have been just like, oh, sorry, what? Skype's breaking up. I can't hear you.
Oh. Well, you can still read it. Like, everyone knows you saw it.
Shut up.
Sure.
So I almost never use Facebook, like outside of BaseTradeTV Facebook. And for whatever reason, I thought it'd be really funny to post that one particular clip of that failure moment.
Oh, yes, I saw that, yeah.
I had a couple friends comment on it, whatever, and then I had a friend actually call me, not text me, but call me, saying like, "Dude, are you okay? Like, did you just strike out really hard in front of thousands of people?" I'm like, "No, man! Like, what the fuck?"
I can't.
He felt like it was genuine. Like, what shocked me was it was genuine concern for my well-being. I'm like, I know somebody who cares about me that much. Like, what?
I just, with any situation, okay, like, I don't believe that someone uses a line like that anticipating like a positive response, and if it's not a positive response, they go like crying and like suicidal.
I use those kind of lines as like fun little icebreakers of things. Like, that's just silly. And like, I don't think anyone ever follows that up with the intention of like the eyebrows and the wink, and you're like, so we go back to my place? Like,
right, exactly. Like, I can't think of a situation that happens. Maybe some really nervous guy is being told by his buddies, like, oh, just open up with a line, and then it'll be able to tell you if she likes you or not. And when she just kind of responds like I do, maybe the guy's like crushed. Maybe that can happen, but it's like, what else would you expect? It's an icebreaker. It's not like the woman's gonna be like, oh, that was so smooth. Right now, right here.
It feels like nowadays the smoothest thing you can say is like, I got a little bit of weed back in my place and some like pizza. You wanna go hang out with some Netflix or something?
That would not appeal to me. If he was like, hey girl, wanna play StarCraft? I'd be like, yeah.
Would you though? Because I kind of feel like now it's not the case anymore. I think now it'd be like, hey girl, you wanna play Overwatch? You'd be like, all right, I'll see you in bed in 15 minutes after we win the round.
The fastest way to a man's heart is beating him in a game he thinks he's good at. Which is my favorite thing to do. And I feel like I could probably beat like 90% of the guys that come up to me. Granted, it's not like an esports event. Even then, maybe that much. Because no pro gamer's going up to me, right?
So what you're saying is, my mistake in trying to court Zombie Grub is simply being good enough to play StarCraft.
It's interesting, you know, either you're way too good and I just like am in awe of you, or you're way too bad and I have a lot of fun beating up on you.
No, that's what I was gonna say. Like, that's where you lose the respect, right? You're like, okay, I could never date a guy who's this bad at the game. Like, man, you're embarrassing.
It'd be a lot of fun. You know, I don't know.
Where did Steve rank? Was he like Diamond League or?
He was disappointing League.
He wasn't Grandmaster Random Korea, 4-time GSL winner Diva?
Yeah. You know, I like Diva so much more for all the memes that she's created.
I know, the Dorito, like...
I like that Diva more than the one that's in the game.
Major League Gremlin, man.
Ooh, nice snipe on that Widowmine so it didn't hit the Viking.
Yeah, also, nice good control to focus on that medevac, so these Marines all guaranteed to die. Almost as the Viking fort, but KeeN really playing well. I mean, the control there was one thing, but another to be said where this is a guy who I almost gave a walk over to, whereas ByuN is actually struggling to hurt him.
Yeah, ByuN's not having a great time here. And, I mean, it's not so
Receiving
surprising
incoming
based off his
transmission.
performance versus Labyrinth, which was not a convincing, like, dominant 2-0 against some guy that we barely know. He's actually had a little bit of trouble. So, maybe I should have given KeeN just a little bit more credit. I should have bet against people in chat.
I got a $5 donation coming in from Bill Farty. Bill Farty. Yeah, it smells bad, man. I'm too tired to be funny, but I do stink right now, so you can laugh at that. Hey, what do you know? We both made the same stupid joke. Really interesting to see more than one Cyclone come out of KeeN, by the way. Like, I know for a fact he was anticipating a follow-up out of ByuN of some variety, whether it was like a Banshee or another Medevac or something, but to see 2 Cyclones and 2 Vikings is so paranoid, and this cost him his 3rd CC. Now, we've talked about this many times, especially in TvT matches. You can play 2 base versus 3 base. You can play 3 base versus 4 base. A lot of it just has to do with your army getting the damage done to make up for you lacking that economy, which I don't know he can do with a particular composition he's going for. Yeah, like a Cyclone is so expensive, and it's not at all like a drop full of Marines.
It is. It's like the idea of 1 or 2 good units that are very good defensively against, again, 1 or 2 good units, but pushing power, like staying power, those aren't really things that are usually combined with Cyclones, unless it's like a Cheese and Raven. But maybe you can try and strong.
Everything from KeeN is so defensive. Like, again, the Raven especially. This is something where if ByuN gets to snowball with his economy, it's not happened yet, but if he gets to snowball with his economy, KeeN's going to really regret playing so defensive.
Yeah, I agree. It is so odd that he's playing so defensive. Like, the last game was fairly convincing that he knew what to do in TvT, right? So it's not like he's bad and is just being over defensive because of that. It's just maybe he thought ByuN was going to be more aggressive, but ByuN has no problem getting a 3rd CC too.
Well, that Raven is going to be really interesting going forward, whether it's for the point defense drones to maintain that air dominance. I mean, 5 Vikings versus 5 Vikings is one thing. You get the point defense drone in there, and it's a whole nother story. But I also love the idea of the auto turret harass. We just see it happen so commonly nowadays, and it's so dangerous. 7 seconds of an auto turret can kill so many SCVs.
That's certainly true. I mean, the harassment potential is good. Cyclone in the middle of the map, getting a Viking as it goes too far forward, Ravens in the back line, that's great. Marine drops if you even had a medevac. But it's just all not very, very pushy. So ByuN, trying to take advantage of whatever he can, has been, going for the faster 3rd CC, has defense in his main and a little bit in his natural, but nothing more than we usually see compared to KeeN, who went a little bit overboard. But the upgrades are on the way. KeeN actually has an upgrade lead a little bit with that +1, faster armory. It's not the end of the world. It just was odd.
Oh, this is really sad.
What?
So, for those who don't know what happened, I was...
you're gonna talk about that? Oh god.
What?
I think I know what you're gonna talk about.
Yeah, so there's like a YouTuber who was shot and killed recently.
Yeah.
At a concert she was doing. But I guess whoever is in charge of her Twitter account just tweeted the end. It's like, it's kind of really sad. Like, I'm not even making jokes.
That felt more like a troll hacked into the account. Like, that wasn't...
Well, maybe it was a troll or maybe it wasn't. But, like, I always, like, I've said this before. Like, we make jokes about, like, oh, what if casters got in a plane crash, whatever. But it's actually scary and daunting to think, like, what if your pro gamer, like, your favorite pro gamer died? Like, either someone shot them or they were in an accident. Like, it's never happened. So to see this happen to a YouTuber who I've actually watched before, I don't know, for whatever reason, is really resonating with me, and it's making me feels.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw that retweet, and I don't know, like, if it wasn't someone who was if it was someone who was like the social media manager or something, it's kind of weird.
Well, for me, what's weird about this too is, like, if this was like a celebrity, like, I've not really cared so much about the celebrity deaths that always get announced, but for whatever reason, I guess because YouTube's a little bit closer to home for Twitch than like, a celebrity that I've never met.
Receiving incoming transmission.
Well, tap your thoughts. Thank you for the donation, Random Twitch Bro.
Random Twitch Bro.
Donated $5. Ayo, girl, want to come over and watch Brood War era day 9 dailies? I've got a Chromecast with TV next to my mom's comfiest couch. That actually sounds great. Like,
I was gonna say
that at all.
that sounds like a zombie or fantasy, to be honest.
And get to meet your mom so quickly? Great.
Oh, this is getting really needy girlfriend status.
Exactly.
All right, Viking versus Viking fight should go better for ByuN, but he's actually trying to dart away from this with that tank medevac count, like really just trying to escape from this. But the reason this should go better, Auditor is actually going to change this up a lot. He's got to disengage now. Well, it's because his opponent's Vikings were already damaged a little bit, so KeeN, unfortunately, not able to capitalize on this, and ByuN not able to really get too much done. They both just disengage, and no one's so much the worse for it. I think, though, that while this goes on, we've had, like, the passive upgrades, and we got a little bit of a small mistake out of KeeN, where he was late to that level 2 armor. So now in the Marine versus Marine fight, ByuN will have a definitive advantage as long as he keeps up on his upgrades from here till probably 4 minutes from now. If this game goes 15 minutes or longer, yeah, KeeN will catch up. They'll both eventually be on 3-3. But the likelihood of this game being passive for 5 more minutes is very low.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, they are getting a 4th base pretty quickly, so it's one of the more passive games, even on Dusk Towers, but they got to be pushing soon. And there is ByuN pushing out right now. Good vision from from both of them, really. Marine just spread across the map, the left side especially, not so much the right, but center tower is also going down.
There's slightly more tanks for ByuN. The Marine count, as well, slightly ahead, but this is where I start wondering, like, whether those Ravens will make an influence. Auto turrets help out. Cyclone is certainly an odd question to see, but KeeN has segmented a good chunk of his army off to drops, and unfortunately, ByuN being maxed out can't really produce anything at home to stop this. But this fight goes so well for him on the other side of the field, it might not matter. Storms on through with those Marines. Upgrades and numbers in tow. This is not even a planetary. He could keep pushing into this fairly easily. If this is going to turn into a base trade, it's going to be one that goes just fine, because now his production should be able to handle too. He actually lost enough on the front lines that he can produce units at home to defend with.
As good as that fight was, this actually ain't pretty easily. Okay, yeah, ByuN is probably still going to win this game, but that looks like dominating push to win, easy GG. It's not quite at that point. The 4th base is going to be saved. The army supply is still something that if you could ever break out, you could actually have a better tank fight. It might not be so bad, but breaking out of this position is going to be hard. Like, taking this ramp is pretty good for ByuN, although he is the one to back off.
Well, ByuN also, I thought, was going to go siege this cliff point with the Vikings chasing out the command center and only a couple tanks there, but I guess a little too worried about this drop. Going to attend to this back at home. Really good fight for him. 4th base now coming down. That's where he's going to start getting ahead as, again, knocking his opponent's back was a pretty big deal. It was pretty clear, though, that KeeN was not only lacking supply from the 3 medevacs full of units gone from the fight, but those upgrades, man. Like, again, like, for Terran, upgrades are everything. And ByuN actually, funny enough, loses his upgrade lead following this up. KeeN was actually the one who got to 3 weapons faster and sooner, whereas ByuN's only just started it, and neither are going for armor just yet.
Yeah. Interesting how that flipped. Game still goes on. Man, that looks so dominating, but I guess KeeN did have a lot of supply elsewhere and tanks that were holding on. Gonna get ahead in that vehicle weapon upgrade as well, and once again it is ByuN looking to push out. His 5th base was tried to put on location, is denied by a single Marine. That kind of sucks. Puts it on next to his 4th base now. KeeN looking for kind of a revenge blitz on ByuN's army.
Yeah, KeeN still has the air control here with the Vikings, but 2 Vikings not gonna be a big deal. I'm surprised the Cyclones have been kept alive through this whole game. That's a little more surprising to me, but drops the tanks into the Marines, actually bleeds out 2 of the tanks for that defense. A little bit sloppy there as he starts moving northwards to intercept this army. Unfortunately, some of his tanks aren't even sieged for this. And he's got to back away really quick. That command center going to have to get canceled at this rate. Takes the army fight, so maybe not. Pushes on through, blows up the tanks, and KeeN loses this fight really badly.
Yeah, but still not at a bad supply. I mean, I really thought that fight was going to go better with, you know, some of his tanks in the low ground, but I guess not. He still had an upgrade lead during that, too. It's great that ByuN is able to take a fight like that and still have that 10-ish army supply lead, but KeeN's holding on. His own 5th base is not on the way, and that's what's probably the most worrying, as you don't really want to have a command center, a regular orbital that is on your outlying bases. You can kind of get away with it maybe on your 4th if you really want to try and mix things up, but for 5th and 6th, they're just going to get stemmed upon and die.
By the way, never went over final bets for the finals. We'll go over that in a second. Now let's do it real quick. 35,000 on ByuN, 9,400 on KeeN.
I miss TvT in Olimoleague.
Me too.
It's like an old friend. Hello there.
Hey man, it's been a while. How you been? I haven't seen you since like high school.
I started petting, like making the petting motion. But I don't pet friends. I don't know why.
You're just like there. SCVs and everything getting pulled in to try and break this fight. I think KeeN knows the value of winning this fight, but ByuN, actually, I don't think ByuN even realized how low his medevac count was in the front line, so he can't even pick up all the tanks to fly away from this fight. This goes so well for KeeN. A good pounce for him, but then pushed back immediately by the reinforcements.
Okay, a little bit of over-dedication was going in without his tanks. Loses the Viking that was so close to sniping every single medevac too.
Another big aspect of this too was the small drop up here saw what was, I want to say 20-something Marines. Like, KeeN identified that the whole army at ByuN wasn't here, and that was a big part of pouncing, but I don't think he realized how lucky he kind of hit with the fact that there was no medevacs here. He's going to try and deny some mining. Tank's going to drop into Marine fire. Not going to be good for him. Loses several of the tanks right away. Backs away. Medevac's not completely gone. ByuN can't run away from this, and he can't heal either.
Yeah, this is going to be a better position for KeeN. ByuN has some reinforcements, but those are Vikings.
Yeah. I don't think he's done this intentionally. I think this is just an accidental, like, oh, Jesus, I didn't realize I have no medevacs.
I mean, now he's really, like, starting to... You know, KeeN's not going to have any medevacs either. He just lost, like, 4 or 5. And luckily, he had quite a surplus.
This positioning, very important for KeeN to hold on to. While he's putting some harassment on the planetary up here, I mean, ByuN, he doesn't need this base as badly as KeeN needs this base.
That's true. He did just lift his main base, and this is what I was talking about, like, to protect your 4th, but also get around to your 5th. Like, ByuN, all he has to do is send 16 Marines over there without medevacs. Apparently he's not getting very many. And he could probably tear that down before KeeN reacted. And if KeeN does react, that's when you push with this side. I mean, that orbital is a weak point.
I'm curious on his... It's not like he's choosing to play with less medevacs because he, you know, oh, that was a good choice, but it's going to end up... going to hurt him quite a bit as his medevac count fell off so harshly. This army also out of position once again will not be able to come back home and defend for ByuN. So as KeeN goes up for this push, ByuN certainly doesn't have enough army back at home, and bringing his army across the map is going to be out of the question.
The 4th is going to go down, maybe? Nope. ByuN's moving in. I thought the 5th might go down too, but reinforcements take care of that. KeeN pushes into not just the natural, but tries to go into the main too. It doesn't really work out.
Army trading for army, but no medevacs on the side of ByuN. I mean, in fairness, he is taking fantastic fights where he shouldn't. Kind of make you wonder if there's like some sort of extra passive to him this game, but it's StarCraft and everyone fights on even footing.
Upgrades are completely even, by the way.
ByuN has denied a lot of mining from KeeN, though. Not just through this base earlier, but through the attack down here before. And I thought maybe production would fall off for KeeN, but it really hasn't.
Not so much. He's still muling that 4th, 5th, whatever is pretty good. 4th, 5th. I can count, whatever.
The medevac gets got.
No, kill the medevac! Okay, whatever, he's gonna kill the Marines.
Yeah, works out either way. He's trying to get some splash damage from the friendly fire in the tanks. I love this move. Picks up the tank as well to back away from that specific. KeeN is going to get attacked once again at the 5th? 4th?
He has... well, I mean, it's his main command center, so it's whatever.
I thought that was his natural.
No, his natural's moving right now.
Oh, okay, you're right. My bad.
So, anyway...
KeeN's on top of production, though, for ByuN, and this is where it really starts hurting and putting pressure on for the Terran. You start losing those factories, you start losing those tech labs, you're not going to have a chance to actually fight this game out. He's going to start leapfrogging forward a little bit, gets too close. Still putting pressure on this planetary. Looks like that's going to die. The walk by in the south is cleaned up. Planetary's still holding best it can over here. Finally, ByuN pushes that off and takes control of his mining base once again. But breaking out of this proved to be quite difficult with the incredibly low medevac count.
ByuN still has the supply lead, though, and that's in a couple tanks, a couple Vikings, and a couple Marines, so medevac count might not be that important. And he's getting there. He's getting to that count.
He's not stimmed. There we go. Now takes that fight. We'll see how this goes. He's kind of stuck on 2 different sides, giving KeeN a much better angle of attack. But
then a sandwich.
A sandwich into another sandwich. It's an Oreo inside of a double-decker sandwich. Looks like the planetary went down, though, while this happened. So loses a lot of the Marines and half his army supply, but for the cost of a very important mining base, is it worth it? He's going to lose some of these units as he stims to try and catch the medevacs, drops and unloads, but KeeN has established another mining base at the bottom right while this goes on. So ByuN is mining. He's got this planetary. He can start lifting some of these other orbitals around, but right now he does have a very definitive army lead. Question is, can he capitalize with it? This is a lot more tanks than Marines, so mobility is a bit of an issue.
That's true. That's true. just basically someone could get a drop first on their tanks or just a better concave and maybe win this game.
Oh no!
That's if ByuN had a concave, I think he'd actually take on this army okay, but he did just walk into that accidentally.
Yeah, this is a problem too, where Skane's gonna be less abundant for ByuN. He actually needs mules. It's weird that is considered this late.
Oh, he can get there we go. But he accidentally unloads like an unsiege tank.
Surprise!
Anyway.
Surprise,
They're both
motherfucker!
just reflecting off each other. KeeN has bridged the supply gap a little bit.
See, this is crazy for me because again, like I just didn't see KeeN measuring up to ByuN in any way, shape, or form. But he's played this game out to 20 minutes and in several instances been very definitively ahead. This could still go in his favor. His mining was better for so long. They've both finally caught up and sort of tied up on mining. But this is now about the army, and ByuN still has a bit better army, but engagements are a big deal. Shoots some of the rocks by mistake, falls back, retreats, gonna lose some of those unsieged tanks in the front line, but unloads his tanks, baits KeeN away. KeeN's not fighting with his tanks, and I don't know why he chose to take a fight away from his own tanks.
Right? I mean, I could see like 5 seconds sooner pull back, and he probably took a fantastic fight, but he overstayed way too long away from those tanks. He lost his base in the south, too. He's actually just gonna straight up lose it.
Orbital going down is a pretty big deal. That was the Nashville flooded over reminder. So he's only got 2 bases, and then both the orbitals moved over. So this is pretty dire for KeeN now. His income's going to take a big hit, and well, right now we're not going to see the army spike for ByuN. Give it 2 or 3 more rally points, and then ByuN's going to be up in supply, probably close to max, while KeeN's at like 150. This is a good game for ByuN at this point, but still. Walking into tank fire, he's obviously a little bit stressed. Maybe could throw this. Not yet, but with his current army supply, it's still pretty close.
That's what I was gonna say. You could still throw it. Tanks actually come down to
I like that focus fire. I really love that focus fire.
Okay, that's it for the Marines of KeeN, and KeeN is going to tap out.
Congratulations to ByuN. He'll tie up the series 1-1. For us, though, that's been quite a bit of time. It's half an hour since our last ad break, guys. So we're going to stick in a 2-minute commercial break while we get to game number 3. It's a best of 5, not a best of 3, so we still have quite a few games to go through. And we'll see you soon. All right, guys, we're back and getting into Frozen Temple. Game number 3. If you're just joining us here, it is the finals of this week's Olimoleague. It's tied up 1-1. And I guess thank you guys for tuning in. What's going to be great is the second this is finished, there's a lot of other streams that'll be covering some of the IEM Shanghai stuff, so you'll have awesome StarCraft content going for you all day. We are going to be back later today, not us both specifically. Fear Dragon will be covering the North American qualifiers, and if I'm feeling up to it, I will do my best to join him for it. But let's hop into Frozen Temple.
Okay.
So what do you think, by the way? This series is already much closer than I thought it would be.
With the way things have been going, I actually might be favoring KeeN a little bit. He had a lot of opportunities to take that game, as close as it was. So,
I'll call that first game a warm up, but even if I do that jokingly, like game 2, you're right. Like there was a lot of opportunities where that was very close and a lot scarier than I thought it would be. But folks, we're getting into game number 3. It's tied up now 1-1. It's a best of 5 finals for the Olimoleague, and in the upper left side of Frozen Temple, we've got the blue Terran, ByuN.
The bottom right, as the yellow Terran, he is KeeN.
So let me ask you real quick, what are your plans with your hair?
That is a good question. I don't know.
Because, of course, it's been a good chunk of time and people are still kind of getting caught off guard. We will see at least once or twice an hour. Oh my god, Sam Grimm's hair is like a different color. What the fuck? I think the blonde suits you really well. Like, I'm totally of the opinion, blonde, white, whatever, like, you should go in that direction again. But, it's up to you, obviously, ultimately, at the end of the day.
It's really, like, as long as I look okay. So, unless, like, if I get blue and it looks terrible, I'm not going to keep it. I'll pay the extra money till I get it changed. But if it's okay, I'm probably not going to spend the money to redo it or get it back to the normal color. Because I mean, I know it's not as expensive as it was when we did it first.
Too, really.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right?
The cheapest way to do it.
Expensive as it was first, because I had to go back twice, and it was like a really fancy, like, and I picked like one of the more high-priced stylists and whatnot.
They had levels. It felt like it was like a cult,
Yeah.
man. They're like, I'm a level 14 hairstylist,
Yeah,
and this is my apprentice. She just finished drinking the Kool-Aid. She's a level 3 hair dyist.
Yeah. But it's still gonna be money. Like, I mean, I've gone because I'm not gonna go to like hair cuttery if I was gonna get it done. I'd still go to like a kind of high-endish place, something like $60, right? I don't want to spend that money. I'd rather just grow my hair out. Like, it's gonna look so stupid when I have like half brunette, half blonde, but whatever, man.
Well, there's that girl who does the that famous May cosplay, or not cosplay, but she's got that picture that circulates on Twitter, Eclair or whatever. She's like hella cute. Her hair is really stupid looking, and I don't think you could ever look that bad. At least I don't like it. Excuse me, I should say. It's not objectively stupid looking.
Yeah, I can actually recall what it looks like.
It's almost like she dyed just the tips.
Well, sometimes that can look fine. Maybe she just did it. Well, I might also look into like learning how to do it myself, but honestly, that sounds like a lot of work, and I don't know about that.
All right, this Reaper, by the way, pounces on the Sissy at that perfect timing. Oh, so annoying for ByuN. He's ready for it to jump in the main, not ready for it to cancel the command center. And now with the Hellion following this up, he's got to dance really well. 2 Reapers snipes that one off. He does finish the CC though, so he can at least bring it back to the high ground, but truth be told, he's not actually well set to defend this.
Right, so this is like what ByuN did against Labyrinth, which is kind of funny, except ByuN got more Reapers.
Like, I actually think ByuN's done a lot of trouble. 2 Marines can't take this on. The Hellion will help a little bit, but he has to engage before the Hellions are out, so he's going to eat grenades. Doesn't get the Reaper. Does drive this off for the time being.
If this was followed up by a Liberator, which, I mean, sometimes, like, actually pretty commonly it is, I would be like, uh-oh, the command center, that natural command center might never get back down, but it's a medevac, and that might be just as bad.
I actually don't think the Cyclone's the best choice in this one either. Tank on the medevac for certain, but the thing about the Cyclone is it's got so low health, Hellions can beat it, but Hellions and Reapers can dominate it.
That medevac, especially if it gets to unload unscouted, could be very bad, but no, he unloads just right then and there. Either way.
Oh man, this is not looking good for ByuN. He's gonna have to pull some SCVs. Picks up the Cyclone, the Hellion to break the lock-on for the Cyclone. SCVs do get pulled, but the Cyclone goes down. Another Cyclone on the way, but this might already be too much damage.
Maybe. Of course, this was KeeN not having command center. Still not done. Only just started.
With that Cyclone getting knocked down, if he takes down another one, that Liberator that KeeN's got rallied across the map is going to do some massive damage when it finally arrives, as there's no anti-air.
Oh, that is a good point. I was going to say then the medevac would never die and KeeN could just keep elevating, but either one is a good point. This is actually very bad.
It's really getting out of hand now. This is really worrisome. That Liberator that's being made by ByuN, by the way, will have that same problem that we saw earlier. Well, it will take a bajillion years to kill the Liberator of KeeN, but KeeN's going home. Why are you going home with this? You don't need this at home. Okay, there we go. Fix the rally.
Yeah, the rally. I mean, maybe he could have continued pressure, but he also has to get his own macro down, and maybe he had to look back, and rather than risk losing everything, you make sure nothing's in range of dying, basically, and you do your macro. But that does lighten the pressure for a little bit. But ByuN, not paying attention to his natural for a second, gets dropped. Not paying attention to his main for a second, gets liberated.
Yeah, the Cyclone's in the wrong spot. It's busy fighting in the natural against the army as it needs to, but can't get a position now for the Liberator, which has killed quite a few SCVs and shut down mining for a moment or two. Even got the SCV that was building engineering bay too. Nasty as that is. Cyclones.
Oh my god.
Cyclone be damned.
Oh,
no.
Jesus. Oh, why didn't he go in for that? Oh, that would have been so good.
Because he wants to take the army fight and guarantee the win rather than risk one big SCV hit, as cool and sexy as that would be. But grenades going off, SCVs getting splashed. This Vikings on the ground is like the last hope to defend, but there's so many SCVs gone, I don't think you recover, even with 2 CCs at this point. Down to 13 workers remaining. 12, 11, 10, 9, 10.
Game. Oh my god.
And here comes the Banshee.
Follow-up. Oh, dear God.
And he mules. He just muled too. That's the worst part. He knows it too. KeeN takes a lead. 2-1.
KeeN. He's going to upset the bets.
He is.
Goodness.
KeeN is not upsetting the bets, but also upsetting expectations. I mean, maybe ByuN isn't taking this super serious. I don't know. But it kind of looks like he is. Like, he is struggling to deal with KeeN. And what I love about KeeN that he's doing is he's not trying to take like this to the macro fight. He's trying to hit him hard and early, where it's probably the easiest to have skill negated when you've only got 3 units to fight with. Doesn't matter how good your splitting is if it's only 3 units. But we'll get game number 4 up here ASAP, guys. Small break. See you soon. All right, folks, we're back. Game number 4 for the Olimoleague Grand Finals. A little bit surprised to see that he's the one trailing the series, but in the upper right, he's on his last life. It might go out right here. It's going to be the Blue Terran ByuN. Would I ever thought this would go like this.
In the bottom right, upsetting everyone. It's the Yellow Terran, KeeN.
Yeah, quick reminder of the bets for this too. KeeN has like 9,400 per two to bet on him. ByuN 35,000, and I think that's totally to be expected. Just a bit surprising to see him struggle so much, but at the same time, I guess we are putting a lot of emphasis on ByuN, where credit needs to go to KeeN. Like, he is actually doing a lot of really smart things. He's doing great follow-up combos. You know, it's kind of like when you see the Hellbats and the ZBT push, kill the Queens so the Banshee can come in and kill everything. Very similar to what we just saw. Like, those Hellions and Reapers being medevaced around was cool, and you know, we never really saw them dive in for the worker kills so much as it was constantly keeping that army value down. So the follow-up, whether it's the Liberator or the Banshee, would be able to just reign supreme.
Yeah. They're good 1-2 combos, and it's good micro, good decision making. Like, I could never say that ByuN isn't taking this seriously, because he's microing just as hard and making simple mistakes you'd see anyone do.
By the way, in chat, we even have Mr. Arthur Simon linking the Olimoleague predictions for this series, and the percentage chance for KeeN to win this was so low.
Wow. Not surprising again, but he is... I kind of hyped him up in his last series, where like KeeN has been looking better and better, and the fact that he 2-1 Sulky was not surprising to me, because Sulky's been looking worse and worse. But I didn't think he would go up against ByuN, who, while he has participated in as many online tournaments, besides like the last week basically, as he dropped out of all the other qualifiers, he's still always looked good. Like, he's never just been like stopping playing StarCraft. We talked about that before too. Like, ByuN is probably one of the most passionate players of StarCraft.
Yeah.
He won't play in a single competitive tournament for 6 months, but it'll be like confirmed he's still like top 15 on GM or some shit. He just really likes playing it a lot, like too much. He gets addicted to it.
I wonder if I could convince ByuN to play co-op with me.
Man, maybe you could. He really likes playing it in general.
Actually, it's still so funny, guys, because every time we talk about co-op, ZombieRub and I are the only people who are ever going to have this story where, like, when we got to beta test Allied Commanders, which is co-op mode now, we rocked. And we had Koreans from Kesp. You had friggin' Solar and, like, Rogue and MMA and everyone there. And they all just struggled, is the only word I can say, where we had a fine, breezy time playing. So I would actually wonder if ByuN, as god mode as he is, would be any good at co-op, just thinking on it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question for sure. Just, I don't know what it is, the dynamic of them just being maybe like rigid in the way they play and whatnot, but this is the same kind of scenario as last game, except it's now ByuN applying the pressure, so just flip-flopping between series, between games, and KeeN, who has to try and defend. But, you know, already building a command center, this is a lot less worrisome than when you have to get the SCV down there.
This is so strange that this is where the meta of this particular matchup's gone, by the way, where so much of this goes down to Reapers and Hellions. But this is a pretty pressured fight. I mean, these Marines can't really do too much on the ramp. They get grenaded, knocked back, executed, shots fired. But now the Hellions taking control of the fight for KeeN as he starts pushing ByuN back. He's lost that Reaper control. Liberator was coming in, hoping to mop this up, but not quite going to be what happens.
Yeah, and KeeN has a Viking already on the way, predicting the follow-up, so that Liberator, maybe deny mining, although if it goes to the natural, it definitely won't. It change positions. But it is not enough damage for ByuN quite yet.
KeeN is seriously on point with this. Man, everyone's dropping like the knowledge bombs of stats that we didn't even know about. Like, apparently their history is like 13-2 in the history of like ByuN versus KeeN. So these 2 points coming out just now. Like, ByuN has dominated this kid in the past, but not today.
Liberator does get siege up in the main. The Viking is not responding. In fact, KeeN's not responding quite yet. There he goes. 3 SCVs go down, but more importantly, that denial on mining.
Yeah, and ByuN's actually on falling with the Banshee, so very much just using KeeN's own builds against him, and own strategies and own tactics. But he's not done enough damage to get away with this the same way that KeeN did in the other games. This may still get him ahead, and it still may get an eventual victory, but this isn't going to be, KeeN tapping out the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible to bring that SCVs back when they did. Yeah, it is a point where ByuN has definitely done enough damage to make up for his later command center, and then a little bit then some, being up 7 workers and getting, pretty good units out right now. But it's not that tap out time. Yeah, absolutely.
Look at the
ByuN gets a
too, by the way.
third, the denial and stuff. ByuN takes a quick third, and that could be the weakness that KeeN, pounces on if he ever gets a scouted or he just, happens to be, gearing up for a push. But if he throws on a third CC in like the next minutes, then he's probably just going to fall behind.
So I bring back the previous game, though, where we saw KeeN playing like almost insanely paranoid defensive. And that was in a situation where he wasn't being attacked. This is a game where he is being attacked, and we may see him go back to that same sort of defensive style. And if he does, that third base out of ByuN ends up being the greatest choice he can make instead of the biggest risk he can make.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. He really does have to attack. I mean, even if he gets command center, second scan is used, he has to attack with it to at least pressure. I mean, maybe he won't kill ByuN because, there's still ramps to get through, and ByuN's going to have some tanks too, but he's just going to fall farther and farther behind at this rate. ByuN's starting to get that production up. His command center's almost finished, so now it can lift off if things really get hairy, and he sees the army push out for KeeN.
So folks are saying should play co-op with Nathanius. I would love to play co-op with Nathanius. He's usually busy though. We played one time. We both failed miserably because we were both talking about things instead of playing the game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was streamed. Rip.
I've been in, like a drought of PC games because of my finger. So I'm like pretty jealous of whatever.
So you're just playing incredibly non-politically correct games?
Uh,
SCV pull, a little bit preemptive, but he's going to use it to prepare the tank and not fight into the army. That's a pretty good choice. ByuN deflects this attack really nicely.
Yeah, that was really easy. And now KeeN, I don't know what KeeN does. His production is only just coming down. He hasn't started any of the upgrades that ByuN has. He's just straight up losing. And even a Doom drop probably wouldn't be enough at this point.
Chaos Master 21 hitting us with a 17-month. Whoa. Resub, thank you so much. Just to give a quick update on the Partouf situation, because this is an ongoing update, I guess. Partoufs have been paid. They've been ordered. They're being manufactured. The latest Zombie Rep should have the Partoufs in hand will be July 18th. And that's when she can start mailing them out again. So if you guys have not received a Google document and you've been subbed for more than a year, if you haven't sent that form to fill out, please send me a message here on BaseTradeTV so we can send you it ASAP. Someone in chat was saying, can I just pay you money for a Partouf? The unfortunate answer is no. While these Partoufs are something we could easily sell and I think make a couple of bucks off of, we want it to be something special. Like, there really should be some value to this where it's your time committed to the channel that matters more to us than the amount of money you've donated. You could donate me $100 right now. I would not send you a Partouf. We've had people offer that amount too for portrait codes and other things. And again, like, if Zombie and I were really concerned about selling out, we'd jump on that. But well, we're not rich people. We don't need that money, and we'd rather just have that special factor.
When we look at you guys, we don't see dollar signs. We see real people behind an internet screen.
Dollar signs in their pockets.
Yeah.
No, but for real, like, I've kind of always been a little bit worried about that, right? Like, the more sponsors you pick up, the more stuff you have to push. At what point are you pushing too much? And
you're pushing too much when the baby pops out.
Oh, hey, this is kind of interesting.
Okay,
I'm
that's
not gonna
one way
say
to
it.
try and get back in.
I'm not going to say it. Do you want to say it?
This will probably not work. This very rarely works in general, whether you're ahead or behind, and it just I don't know. It worked once recently, funnily enough. But that was because I think Mana just was like, it was a PVZ, or no, it was a PVT, sorry. Mana was just like, oh, he's got to be all-inning me, and was just constantly too defensive, didn't take advantage of his lead, where I'm not really sure that can happen here.
Oh, and ByuN's actually trying to sneak around the map, so he may just accidentally find it. And not in any sort of map hacky sense of the phrase, but Okay, well, he's not actually rallied down here. He's just rallied over to the side and then deflects down south. But I was going to say, he might have actually been able to catch that base. Vikings land on the ground, catch the Cyclone. That's a little bit alarming. That's a lot of Vikings, too. 6 is more than you'd expect to see. KeeN's going to go for a bit of a push, but let's not forget, ByuN is ahead in upgrades, but also...
Oh, no! The SCV transfer!
Oh, it's going to give it away! It's going to give it away! There's no reason for that.
His medevacs. Like, they were going to pass each other until that happened. Oh
well, you know, he stopped his medevacs because we saw back at home he was moving his army around. So that was like an accidentally amazing thing to have happen. And KeeN is going to lose the 3rd command center now. No contest. But this is 2 drops with the Marines away from the main army. And maybe if he identifies this, moves in for the fight. But ByuN moves to intercept. Marines in position. That's not going to work. God. The tanks go down. KeeN gets obliterated. And we're going to game number 5.
That was so desperate.
I mean, the 3rd CC was desperate in the first place, but that attack certainly... All right, well, ace match time, guys. This means last ad break today, so stick around. We'll see you in 2 minutes with game number 5. All right, we're back. And just replying to Olimoleague again. He says he's been subbed for 27 months. If you should have gotten your Partouf by now, man. If you haven't... Okay, here's my couple of situations I'm presuming have happened. One is you've submitted a form and we've marked you off as it being sent and you didn't receive it for some reason. If that's the case, message us. If you just for whatever reason never submitted a request for the Partouf, then please, again, message us so we can send you the form to fill out. We'll grab your address and we'll get it shipped out to you ASAP. But for those who don't know, we can't ship anything between now and July because we don't have any left. We've given out, like... It's crazy cool, but we've given out like between 400 and 500 Partoufs for 12-month resubs. That's 400 to 500 people who have been around the channel for a year. And that makes me feel really good to know. Because again, it's that paranoia. I always get so scared. Like, are we just a bunch of U-bots? Is everyone in chat just Mr. Destructoid and we don't have any real fans?
Wait, that's your fear? Are we a bunch of U-bots? Do we even exist?
Are you? I mean, I don't know that you're real right now. You could be a part of the Matrix.
I react, therefore I'm real enough.
I think therefore I am. All right, getting into game number 5. It's ace match time, and I saw some ace matches in chat. Let's see a few more, guys. In the top left, cheer for him hard, as he's been struggling in this matchup. It's the blue Terran, ByuN.
In the bottom left, is the yellow Terran. He's KeeN.
So, a little bit off topic for the start of this game, but you and I have been discussing something that we'll let everyone else know, where we want to redo the BaseTradeTV logo. We're paying an actual artist. We've put aside a considerable amount of money to do so. But something Zombergub and I are a little bit stuck on that would love to get maybe some suggestions for. Not saying we would take all these suggestions. Is when I say a logo, I don't mean like a flashy little piece of text that simply says BaseTradeTV. It looks nice. And maybe we will go that direction. I don't know. But I would love to have like an actual logo. And like things like microphones are so cliche. We want to avoid that. And it's hard to think of something that could represent a base trade. So I'm kind of now looking at the Twitch logo, and it's like a speech bubble with like eyes. What is that, right? Like that has nothing to do with Twitch, but yet it identifies well with Twitch. So we don't have to necessarily do something that relates to us if we can make it ours at the end of the day. So what I would like to ask and request is if you guys have suggestions of things you think would make cool logos. I'm not saying we don't have any ideas of our own, but just, again, if any of you guys have something really cool, and, you know, we're like, you know what, I never thought of a Phoenix, but that guy said a Phoenix, and a Phoenix could be really cool. Again, tweet them at us, message us. We'd love to hear your thoughts or opinions, because we are 100% redesigning the logo here on BaseTradeTV.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in preparation for that team that we're totally going to make, that we were not discussing the other day on stream.
Yeah, actually,
you know,
totally.
Oh my god, if we sold Partoufs, we could use that money to fund a
to fund a Partouf team. Adventure's gonna have to start giving royalties Partouf for using his name.
Yo, if I actually had a team, I think I would make like some joke about it. Like I would just call it Team Pantsless or something, and like all my players would have to wear shorts or something at events. Like no
I thought
pants
we were
allowed.
Team Butts.
We are Team Butts. You and I.
Oh, okay. Thanks to Arma Drunk Donkey.
I'm drunk donkey.
Like a drunk or armed drunk donkey.
Like a drop moving across the map, trading out for what is going to be a drop, but paired with Hellions. one is a little bit more volatile than the other, and unfortunately ByuN does not have a full wall off. Cyclone's coming down, and this isn't going to stop a full drop. This is going to be SCVs having to be pulled. Other side of the map, looks like that Widowmine pops off, and he kills a lot of SCVs as well. Both players going to lose a lot of the workers. Can the Cyclone be what wins this game?
Damn, that was 15 workers real quick, like KeeN. Oh, God.
Oh, the Viking pops out. That's going to pick off the medevac. When that goes down, all the SCVs have to do is keep the army away from the Cyclone, and that Cyclone will win this game through kiting.
I think just in general, ByuN's production will, and I'm starting to use the same amount of SCVs, but ByuN's army still hasn't been cleaned up
Yeah, he's got it. ByuN's done it.
Got it.
GG.
Oh, thank God, my bets are fine.
What an abruptly short final match, but this was such a stressfully intense series for both these players. I'm really glad we got like an exciting TvT finals and not like a boring Marine tank macro every single game TvT finals. We get to see a little bit of everything, and that was that for the Olimoleague. So thank you guys for joining us. This was a great day. I had a lot of fun casting. Again, addressing the question, like, will you guys be casting the IEM stuff? I'm going to go with a no. I said we'd reassess where we're at the end of the cast. My throat feels hella scratchy. My nose is still leaky. I've actually been nailing it with the mutes, but I've been sneezing for a lot of the cast. Zombie Rip can verify, because she unfortunately has to hear it still. So I'm sad to say we will not be continuing the cast for the IEM qualifiers. But again, later today, Fear Dragon will be back. I'm going to sleep right now, and if I'm feeling better later, I'll join Fear Dragon for that cast. But it might just be Fear Dragon. I don't know. But thank you guys sincerely for joining us. This was a lot of fun. Make sure to check out the Patreon for the Olimoleague, patreon.com/Olimoleague. And of course, the really big aspect of that is if you're a Patreon, you'll get to learn about this really cool upcoming news that I kind of hinted at earlier. And there's some really, like, this isn't bait you into donating. There's some legit cool news for the Olimoleague on deck, guys. That being said, make sure to check out our other sponsors. Oh, I've got the hoodie in the laundry. I should have worn it for the cast. I got a really cool hoodie from one of our sponsors, Corsair, recently. Very happy about that. So, got the brand new keyboard with rapid fire. Again, it's got these cool lights, guys. You press it and it just like ripples out of the keyboard and it looks all beautiful and amazing and it's rapid fire. Blah, 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 blah. But anyways, the cool lights aside, the gear's awesome. Make sure to check out all the links down below in the stream. There's like a week or so left. Not even. I think it was like the 15th or the 18th. I gotta go check when we opened it on the arcade block contest we're running. So if you want a chance to win that Risk board game signed by all the people from DreamHack Austin, make sure to check out the arcade block. Clicks down below. Tomorrow we'll be back with the Civil War. That's going to be really awesome. That's the skinned mod game where it's PvP, Team Tal'Darim versus Team Templar. But I think that pretty aptly wraps things up. Zombie, do you have any final words before we go?
Sure. Follow me on Twitter at ZG Gaming, on Twitch at Zombie Grub, because I'll probably be streaming later tonight, and on YouTube, which is also Zombie Grub. Okay.
But you're streaming on YouTube? You can't do that.
I didn't say I was.
Oh, that was phrased confusingly then.
Well, I guess I said you can follow me because I'm going to be streaming later tonight, and
yeah. So
YouTube.
I was like, because if you don't know, your partnership agreement means you can't stream on YouTube, and I don't want to.
I mean, besides knowing that, even if I didn't, why would I want to stream on YouTube?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I didn't want you to get in trouble for something so stupid, but yeah. So that wraps it up. I might come back later tonight, regardless of casting or not, to finish painting my soldier statue on stream. Or well, I'm not gonna finish it. It'll take like 3 or 4 coats, but I've been streaming a little bit on my own personal channel. So if you guys could hit me up. Twitch.tv riff_king. It's just like my Twitter, but without the Z or the Z. And other than that, like I said, come back later, give Fear Dragon some love, guys. We'll probably host one of the people casting the IEM stuff. Who do you want to host? Whoa, to Muslim streaming. Oh, I should host Wardy, but I want to host a Muslim. We'll host Wardy because he's covering some of the IEM stuff, guys. So he works hard. He could use the love. Make sure you give him some BaseTradeTV hearts when you see him in chat, and spam some Ace1, Ace2s. We're going to end the stream with a couple of commercials and then put that host. So again, have a good day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.